Are we live? Oh, yes, we are. Hello.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, ladies in the Limitless CEO community.
Welcome to everybody who's new in our community. We've had a real flurry of gorgeous new women coming into our world. So we are so delighted to have you here. Thank you.
Yeah, amazing. I guess for those of you that are new, that perhaps this might be the first time that you're seeing us live together. Firstly, welcome to you. And I guess also a little intro is probably in order if you are new to our world. So I am Em, and I am the online business strategist and visionary brand creator in the Limitless CEO brand. And obviously with my beautiful co-host and co-founder of the brand, Ali, who I shall allow to introduce herself.
I've just had my lunch and I feel like I've got like green bits in between my teeth, so do excuse me if I am. I'm Ali. I am the other half of the Limitless CEO. So while Em is the incredible brand visionary, if you haven't heard her talk about what that means, you must go and watch her spotlight, which we talked about on her page, her personal page on Facebook last week. Go and understand what a brand visionary is by going to watch that. She is the brand visionary. She is the most incredible brand strategist. She's just amazing. And I know that from firsthand experience because she was my coach. And she helps contain all my fizz. So I am the mind master and the energetics guru, I suppose. I help you really master your mind, master your energy, really tap into your soul so that we can walk this path together with Em, so it feels so beautifully aligned. So it feels like you're fulfilling all of your soul's dreams. And then that's what feels really, really good when you walk with these two energies together. So I talked about it this week, actually, out on our social media. I talked about the yin and the yang, and I really feel that that is a real true representation of what Em and I do within the Limitless CEO brand. So, you sure I don't have any lettuce on my teeth? So I've just completely distracted myself.
I can't see any from here, but we're not going to judge you. We love you with lettuce or without lettuce.
With or without lettuce. So I've just completely gone off on a tangent and disrupted myself. I'll bring myself back on course. So the masculine, if we talk about the yin and the yang, Em, I really see as the yin. She is the masculine, although she is very beautifully feminine. She brings to the table everything that is the masculine energy, and is what I really, really needed when I first came to Em to ask her for her help. I needed the structure, I needed the support, I needed to build the foundations, I needed to feel held. That is what Em brings to the Limitless CEO and everybody who works with us. And then I am the yang. I am the other side. I'm the feminine energy, the flow, that allows you to bring all of your beautifulness into the containers that Em shows us how to build. It's that beautiful balance of dark and light, ebb and flow, give and take. And I believe that's what we bring to the table in terms of balance, because that's where true balance becomes, when you've got that balance of the masculine and the feminine that are beautifully connected in harmony, because you can't have one without the other. That's why you've got the little black dot and the little white dot in the yin and the yang. You've got a little bit of each one in either of the others. So that's what I really, really believe that we bring to the table as the Limitless CEO, and why I believe all of our clients have results. That's why we can create magic and miracles. I've just gone on a whole riff, and Emma, keep it brief. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I actually wrote that on Ali's notes today. Short and sweet. As you can see, though, Ali's fizziness is overflowing today. So just quickly then, the Limitless CEO brand, like what do we really stand for? What are we here to do for those of you that are new to our world? The Limitless CEO for us is about redefining what it means to be a CEO. And we are redefining it as a consciously evolved owner. So not the chief executive officer that you might have thought of before, but a consciously evolved owner. And really what we do is we support independent women to create business in a very wildly different way, so that they just fall madly in love with their life and they're overflowing with freedom and happiness and wealth and personal power. And for us, it's about activating your vision for your future, for your life. And we do that by giving you the how, which is the masculine that Ali talked about, which is a very clear strategic direction for your business. But we also show you who, which is the beautiful feminine energy that Ali brings to the table, where we show you who you are becoming as the woman that is able to walk that path and go the distance and, you know, have it all and hold it all. So that is what we stand for as a brand. But I guess today then, if we think about why we're actually here today, because I know that if you're watching, you're here for the Leap and Grow.
We've got some beautiful women watching, by the way.
Oh, good. Let's do some hellos.
Just some quick hellos. We've got gorgeous Kate. She's hello. We're seeing you in a couple of weeks. We've got Helen, who's joining us for the Well Balanced Business. We've got Victoria, who is a graduate of the Well Balanced Business. We've got Kerry, who's a really good old friend of mine. It's so lovely to see you all here. Thank you for watching. And I think there's quite a few other people watching as well. So hello and welcome. Do pipe up. Please engage with us through this so that we can talk to you. We can answer questions. Let us know what comes up to you when we're speaking through this content today. Do ask questions because we will answer them. So hello and welcome. We're so happy to have you here. Carry on, Em. Bring us into the context of what we're here to do today.
Yeah, so why are we here? So really, this time of year for us, what's going on in our business, which you might have seen, heard a little bit about already, is that we're gearing up for the start of the next round of our Well Balanced Business, which is our signature program. It's our strategic business growth program for coaches and consultants that want to grow in the online space. And we speak to a lot of women at this time of year who are considering kind of making that next step. And typically, we speak to three types of women in our business in slightly different scenarios. But the first woman, and I'm interested to know which one of these you are, so please do let us know in the comments where you fit into this, or maybe you don't fit into this, maybe you're somewhere slightly different, but I'd love to know where you are within this. So first of all, number one is women that want to take the leap from their corporate career into their own business. So they're still working in a job, but they've also thinking about, or perhaps even started their own business on the side. So that's one type of women that we work with. The other women are those that are transitioning from one business into another type of business. So perhaps that's going completely down a different road, or maybe it's just that they are currently working in person as a coach, and now they're looking to transition into an online coaching business. So we also work with women in that respect. And thirdly, we work with women who really want more from their business. So they're already working in their business, they've had some success, but now they really want to go big, and they're looking for that next level impact and next level income in their business. So do let us know which of those most resonates with where you are at the moment.
We've got some comments. We've got
good.
Harry's
Where are we, ladies?
Harry's number one, and I've just seen some other gorgeous ladies arriving. So we've got the gorgeous Nick with us, hello.
Hi.
And we've got Sue, who's joining us for Well Balanced Business, hello. And Victoria, hello, gorgeous.
Hi.
How are you? All the way over in Amsterdam, in the dam. So lovely. Do let us know. I was number 3 when I first started working with Em. I had a business that I loved. I had an idea that I loved, but it was really on that crunch point that it needed to start to make some money for me. Otherwise, it was just going to end up being a beautiful hobby that was just going to fill my time. And I really, really desired it to become a business that I was proud of, that could generate an income for me to live the life that I really wanted. So I was number 3.
I think it's important to say, though, that Ali and I have been all 3 of these
at
different stages of our life, because actually we both have made the leap from a high-level corporate career into our own individual business. We have also transitioned from our own individual businesses that we created. So Ali had her Heal Yourself Happy brand. I had Designing the Dream as my business. And we transitioned into a business together last year. And of course, we've always also been at that growth stage as well, where we have taken multiple businesses, so our individual businesses and the Limitless CEO business together, from ground zero to what is almost multiple 6 figures within 10 months, in the last 10 months. So we have also experienced that rapid growth and that next level impact and income in the business. So we have been all of these at one stage or another. But just to set a little bit more context, I suppose, around today, is that there's always the one common question that we seem to get, and it's always how. How do I secure enough clients so that I can go full time in my business and replace my corporate income? How do I stand out in a busy marketplace? And why would people want to work with me over all of the other people that are also doing the same thing?
Yeah.
There's also the, how can I take lots of different things in my business? So there's lots of different things that I want to do. I want to do, you know, teach on multiple different elements, but I also want to do it in lots of different ways. Like I want to do private coaching. I want to do in person. I want to do online. I want to do, you know, retreats. I want to do workshops. But there's also, you know, the idea that you want to teach in multiple areas as well. Maybe you want to teach mindfulness and you also want to do health.
Which is what I was like. I want to do all of these things, but am I not going to confuse everybody if I say I'm a health coach and I'm a mind coach and now I'm a business coach? Am I going to confuse everybody with all of these skills that I have?
Exactly. So how do you get out of that feeling like a jack of all trades and create a business and a brand that's able to hold all of that?
Yeah.
The other how is often, how do I take all of these ideas that are just swimming around in my head and get clear on what it is that I actually do? And where do I even start with that? How do I start to create my brand and my message? And another key one is, how do I get paid for what I do and stop just being a free service to all of my friends and family? That's a big one. And I guess the major one is, how can I attract more clients? How can I grow my audience so that I can attract more clients? And ultimately, how do I make more money? We are in business ultimately to make money. So there's lots of hows. And we feel like these are often the questions that make or can make you feel like you're maybe not ready to take that next step, or that, you know, these are the questions that keep you stuck where you are. And I really don't want that for you. So that is why we are bringing you the Leap and Grow series that we are bringing you today, and then also on Thursday at 2 p.m. for part 2. So, Ali, leap. Let's start leaping.
Well, for those of you who do know us, it will be no surprise that we're going to take you through our steps on how to leap in the forms of an acronym. It spells LEAP, by the way, LEAP. So it's really easy for you to remember when you're starting to consider if you want to leave where you are and start something new, or leap into your next business. Whatever you want to do, is a really simple process of having a look at these 4 key areas. So the L is probably one of the biggest considerations that both Em and I had when we first took the leap from a very corporate job, from our businesses, from our careers, and leapt into a wildly different career and a wildly different industry, is this whole sense of loss of income and loss of the stability of an income. Because when you move from being in a paid job with your monthly salary and your monthly benefits and everything is done for you in terms of all of your payments and all your everything's done, and you just get this nice lump sum dropped into your bank account with a beautiful bow, and it's done, and that's all yours. To then I'm going into an entity which is really, really entrepreneurial, and I have no stability. There's no definitive paycheck every single month. How can I make that leap? So this fear of loss of stability, this fear of loss of income and money, is one of the first things that we feel that you need to address. And it's often the first thing that holds everybody back. It's that fear of not having that stability and that income.
Yeah. So the L in our LEAP acronym actually stands for the letting go. Because it's often, you know, if we're staying stuck somewhere, it's because we're hanging on and holding on too tight to something that actually we feel like we need at that moment of time. And for most of us, it is that financial security. It is that knowing, that stability. You know, we're not always very good with the unknown. So if you're feeling like you're in this position, like, just know that this is a very, very normal you know, thing to experience in this situation. And I think if I think back to my experience of this, like when I took the leap, for me, I felt as though I needed to have some kind of bridge from the stability that I was experiencing to where I was going. And I needed to have some foundations that felt like they were already in place. It's almost like if you were, and like I use this analogy quite a lot when it comes to business building. If you think about building a business, like you might be building a new home from the ground up, you couldn't just move into, you can't just buy a plot of land and then move into that house straight away. There's going to be this transitionary period where you need to lay down your foundations. You need to slowly build upwards. And, you know, it's getting those structures in place. It's getting the walls made. It's getting the roof on top. It's sealing the windows so that you can then move in and fill it with all the lovely, beautiful things that you want to put inside. But there is going to be that sort of process that you need to go through to lay down those foundations and make sure that when you decide to move out of your home that you're in, that you have got something to move into. And actually business is no different, really. It's having that something to move into that's got those really solid foundations already in place. And I think sometimes people don't recognize that, just like a house isn't built in a day, that a business isn't built in a day either. But one of the things that you can do if you're thinking about making that leap is that you can start to build the foundations now, because this is a process that may take 3 or 4 months. It may take you 5 or 6 months, depending on how much time you can dedicate to it. But laying down those all-important foundations is going to give you that feeling of stability and security that you need in order to say, right, I'm ready. I feel like my house is built and now I'm ready to go and live in it and fill it with all of the beautiful things that I want inside.
You want a firm landing for when you do make that leap.
Exactly. It's like that safety net. Like you need to feel like if you're going to take that massive plunge, that there's going to be something there as the safety net to catch you so that you don't fall. I think that's probably what we're saying here.
Yeah, when you let go of that last finger on that little edge, you're like, well, I know I'm not going to fall a really long distance down because I've already built the ledge that I'm just about to drop onto. And from that ledge, that firm foundation that I spent, 2-3 months building, I know now that I can leap and jump to the next bit and the next bit. Or do you know what? I just know that I'm going to fly from here because I've got something really solid to push up from. I think there's also some programming possibly in our mind that we have to unpick as we stand on that edge before we make that leap. I can almost hear my dad in my mind saying, well, that would be reckless to leave, a really good job and a good career and good progression to leap into the unknown where you don't really know where something's going. So there's this building of the foundations can also help that mind chatter or anybody else in your world to say, actually, do you know what? I've been building some foundations alongside what I'm doing. So I know I'm not jumping into the unknown or the abyss. I've actually started to build something that's really solid so I can actually make that leap.
Yeah. I know Victoria's watching right now, and actually Victoria went through our last round of the Well Balanced Business and was doing that exact thing, making that transition from her job into her business. And she has been working to put down those foundations. So building her brand, that is a key thing. That's the key foundation to lay down, is the brand building. Building your audience as well, so that you have an audience of people, so that when you're ready to go out there and sell your services, you're not starting from ground zero, because you've already started to create some influence. You've already started to show up on social media. And perhaps you've even started to create some of your programs and services that you want to run, so that when you do take that final leap, you're able to hit the ground running and your foundations are solid.
As Victoria's just said, actually, you mentioned her, she says she loves stability. She loves stability and security. And she's just said, now I love the Well Balanced Business and I can't wait to make the leap. We've just been talking quite a bit of the Well Balanced Business. So for those of you who are new to the Limitless CEO, the Well Balanced Business is actually our foundational and signature program. This is Em's business blueprint. It's how you build an online business, and it's her key foundations that she wrote for herself. I'm speaking for you here, by the way.
No, carry on.
The framework that she built for herself to build her first online business. And then she refined it again to build her second business. And then that's what she started to coach and teach to lots of other people to build their businesses. And I happened to be one of those people. So I went to see Em I met Em in 2019, and by 2020, we were working together because I wanted to create, I had no idea how to build a business. So I was like, will you teach me? So I took myself through her 7 foundational steps of how to build a business online. And that's how, during a pandemic, how I built my business online to become a 6-figure brand, how I started to have consistent 5-figure months. And we realized that between the two of us, we had something really quite special together. And that's why we then wrote The Well-Balanced Business, which is basically M's masculine structure and strategy with my concepts of mindfulness, energetics, awareness to keep you to the path, because it's tough. So you need to keep your head in the game, and it's our head that can pull us out. So I'm there to keep your head together. So that's what we do inside The Well-Balanced Business. So thank you, Victoria, for saying that.
Yeah,
the Well-Balanced Business is that bridge to help you build those foundations that you can then build up from. So that's the L. That loss, that fear of loss of income, you can start to build an income and build the foundation so that when you're ready, you have a firm foundation to make that leap to. E then, M.
E is all about expectations. Different types of expectations as well, because we have expectations of ourselves, but we also worry about other people's expectations of us, whether it's a partner, whether maybe it's a parent. Expectations of us.
Yeah, expectations of ourselves. I think one of the most common misconceptions, and one that we're going to help you understand your expectations from, is when you make the leap to start out in business, you might be comparing yourself. We have to be careful who you compare yourself to, really. If you start comparing yourself to Em and I, let's just point out the fact that I've been running my own business as an entrepreneur as 4 years, one of which with Em. Em started running her own business 8 years ago.
I'm in year 8, yeah.
We've been doing this now for 8 or 4 years, but we did start at the beginning. And this is one thing that sometimes often people come and say to us, even already when they're in our world, I can't do what you do. And it's like, are you looking at us now when you're down here? We talk about the mountain. It's like, don't compare yourself to somebody who's way further, been doing it a lot longer. It's like looking at somebody when you go to the gym who's all toned and muscly and saying, well, I can never do what they do. Well, they've been going to the gym every single day for the last 4 years. That's why they look like that. You haven't been.
No, you've got to start lifting the lighter weights first to build up to the big weights. You want to be up there with the heavy lifters.
Yeah.
You have
There's
to
no
somewhere.
such thing as an overnight success. You look at, I remember listening to Joe Wicks in lockdown, and he said, you know, people look at me and see me as an overnight success, but he said, I've been doing online videos on YouTube for 7 years.
Yeah, look at Ed Sheeran. He's been busking since he was about 2.
So there's an expectation here that you might be able to just leap from your corporate job and suddenly magically become an overnight success. And I think we're really here to help you re-benchmark that expectation, because if you go into it with that expectation that you're going to start a business and start generating 5 figures, you're going to disappoint yourself. And that's one thing that we don't want anybody to do. And you'll fall flat on your feet and you'll be really disappointed and you'll give up. This is where I like to talk about the Lilo effect. When you start in business on your own, it's unlikely that you're going to have that consistent income from the get-go. And you have to, and this is one thing that I had to get my head around, was really wrap my head around the fact that every effort, the effort I was putting in consistently every day and not seeing any results, was holding the faith that it would come. And this is what I mean by the Lilo effect. You know, when you're on the beach and you're blowing up a Lilo, or even a paddling pool, I have to do it for my boys when I've lost the pump. And you blow and you blow and you blow, and you really feel like you've got absolutely nothing left to give. You keep giving, you keep being on blowing. You're like, do you know what? I'm going to give up. But then you're like, I'm going to do one more blow. And in that one more push of effort, that's when the paddling pool or the Lilo starts to fill up. And you do one more, and then it's so nearly there, and one more. And it's those last 3 puffs that makes it look like you're an overnight success. But really, it's all of the puffs that you've been doing up until that point. So you have to hold the faith even when there's no evidence that it's happening, because it will happen. And that's where the mind games start to play. And that's where you have to hold your mind. You have to keep going and doing the effort, putting the hard work in, even when there's nothing there to show for it. But when it comes, it's like all of your Christmases have come at once. That's the slight edge, the Lilo effect. And it's very different from being corporate into being in business on your own.
Yeah, and I think that's obviously when you really start to feel that magic happening, is those last few breaths, when suddenly it's like something goes from, and this is what can happen, like it can happen very, very quickly in those last few breaths, where there's nothing, and then it's like, oh my goodness, I've now got this entire inflatable that's huge, and it's, you know, it's full, and it's, you know, supportive, and all of those things. So it can happen quickly, but it doesn't just happen like that. You have to actually lay down the foundations beforehand. The effort has to go in. And I think what some people don't recognize is that when you move into entrepreneurship, or even if you're already an entrepreneur, but you're looking to upscale, there's going to be new skills that you're going to have to learn in order to upscale. And I think sometimes our expectations of ourselves is that we can just start playing professionally. Like if you think about rugby players or any professional sports person, you know, they will be lining that ball up in front of the goal on the line at every single point, and they will spend hours and hours and hours kicking that ball onto goal, kicking the ball onto goal, so that when the penalty shot comes, they're on target and they do not miss, because they are so conditioned with the practice and the skill. And it's exactly like this in business. We get good at what we do because we practice. I mean, if I could show you some of Ali and my first of all, our early brands, our early videos, it's not pretty, ladies. It's not pretty. Obviously, we're pretty, but it's not pretty. So I think we just want to manage that expectation that you are learning new skills, and you need to practice the skill to become the professional player who's playing in the big leagues, if that's what you desire from your business. And being open to learning and being a student again is a key part of that process, is being the student and coming in and learning everything that you need to learn.
I think that's one of the reasons why Heal Yourself Happy was such a success, because I came in with a beginner's mindset. I was like, you know, I've got it to this far on my gut and trust and following my intuition, but I don't know then what to do next. So you tell me. And I didn't like some of the things that you told me to do, but I did it and I practiced it. And in the practicing, I got better and better and better. For those of you who've been in my world for a long time, you'll have seen the change in my imagery, the change in my posts. And we're doing the same again now. It's an intentional growth, an intentional improvement until we're competing with Tony Robbins. We're going to keep practicing. That's what I see. I think that's really important. I think also the other thing I think that's really important in this, there's two other things I wanted to say, or we wanted to say in terms of expectations, is when you're blowing up your Lilo, when you're practicing your skills, make sure that you're putting your energy into the right place, into the right hole, shall we say? Yes. Because I started my business without a website. We've started the Limitless CEO without a website. We've only just got our logo. You've probably seen it change slightly. We started with a feeling and a knowing and a belief that this was good. And I often see people thinking, where shall I invest? In a website, in a logo? What do I do? It's like, you don't need any of that to start with. It's a lot of money for something you haven't yet practiced at. And would you, I know you want.
Yeah, no, I'm so glad you brought that up, because obviously my thing is brand strategy. That's what I love the most. And I would always say to somebody, work out your brand strategy first before you start investing in expensive things like websites and logo design, because I guarantee you, once you've actually worked through that branding process and you understand more about, you know, about what your brand is all about, and you've gone through that process, and we can talk to you a little bit more about that later, about what that looks like, and we're going to cover that. But until you've actually done that work, anything that you put in a logo or a website is probably going to be out of alignment very, very quickly. And suddenly you'll realize, like 4 months, 6 months down the line, that your whole website now needs to be redone and your logo is not quite right. And so I would just say hang fire on those things. Like Ali said, put your energy and your focus into the right hole and make sure that there aren't any leakages anywhere as well, because if you're blowing up your lilo but actually the air's coming out of a puncture somewhere else because you've got some energy leaks, then your effort is going to be feeling very misplaced. And actually that's partly what Ali does as part of our duo coaching.
Make sure you're putting your energy in the right hole.
Plug those holes, those punches, and help you to
I was going to say, talking of energy leaks, one of the biggest energy leaks within inside the expectation piece is setting the expectations not only of yourself, and I hope we've helped reset some of those expectations that you might have when you're coming into this type of work, so that you aren't disappointed. That one of the biggest things that I felt was I had to set the expectations of my husband, James, my partner, whoever you're with, whoever else you're with, because the expectation of when I left my corporate job was that I would have a lot more time to do the house cleaning, do the laundry, look after the kids, all of these things, even though I was starting a business. But if we go back to what we've just talked about, the expectation of running a business, you're starting a business. You're either starting a business or a hobby. If you want your business to make money, if you want to grow a business, if you want to have impact, if you want to leave a legacy, you do have to do some work with it, which means you have to prioritize it just like you did a job. Yes, you can prioritize the flexibility of it, but you have to still put in the work. So this is where you have to have those powerful conversations with the other people in your life and saying, okay, I might have left my proper job, but I'm actually now running a business. So I need to put in just as much effort, perhaps at the beginning, sometimes a little bit more. And I just need to set your expectations that this is what's going to happen. And it's about having those conversations up front first. The wonderful thing that I found, though, that even though I explained to James that I was still going to be putting my effort and time into a business, I was a much happier, healthy person around it. So I still got a lot more done rather than selling my soul to something that I didn't want to do.
Yeah, it's definitely, we run our business like a business. It's a tight ship. It's a serious business. And I think helping other people around you to understand the process that you're going to be going through is really going to help you to hold your boundaries and manage their expectations around your time. Because, just because you're not accountable to a boss anymore, you are accountable to yourself and to your clients. And, for me, to Ali, and Ali to me, and, there are always going to be those expectations that other people have of what you do, and the chances are they probably won't get it to start with. From my experience, the people around you probably won't understand your decision. They won't get it. They may not understand it. So it's our responsibility to help manage their expectations and to help them to understand what it is that we're trying to create, and why it's important that we have those strong boundaries around our work time and around our workspace as well, and making sure that space is not intruded on. So Ali makes a really good point there, in terms of how we can help other people to help us to build our business.
Yeah, I've just seen Kat, our gorgeous Kat. She's our wonderful assistant. She helps us with all of the client experiences that we have for all the wonderful women in the world that work with us. She has just posted the link for the Well Balanced Business. So I know we've been thanks, Kat, for picking up on that. So we've mentioned the Well Balanced Business, our signature program. She's just dropped the link. So if you are interested in knowing a little bit more about what we're talking about, we're not going to be talking about that in great detail today. So if you want to know more, she's just dropped the link. So please go and have a look at that at your own leisure, because we're now going to move on to the A, which is a really, really important part of, well, it's definitely part of both of our journey, actually, isn't it? It's this, we've talked about the affordability of leaving a corporate career and a corporate job and that steady income and all the niceties that go to it. But ultimately, what ended up in maybe being the catalyst to Em and I making the decision to move was the question, can I afford not to? Oh, hello, Rocky. Can I afford not to? What is the cost of me staying the way that I'm running and living my life at the moment, to my health, to my relationships, Are we boring you, Rocky? For those of you who don't know, this is Rocky, my spaniel, who's been sat at my feet and he's just popped up to say hello. He'll go in a minute. But I think this is a really important, it was definitely a question that enabled me to actually take that leap, because the decision was, my health was so poor. I was ill on a cycle every 2 to 3 months. I was always snapping at my children. I had no time for my husband, no time to talk to him, let alone sex, nothing. It was just, I'm just barely surviving here in order to generate a really nice income. For what? For me to be too exhausted to enjoy life with it, and then to feel guilty that I'm not seeing my sons. So the affordability piece became less about the lack of income, but more about the lack of joy and life in my life.
Yeah, and I think both Ali and I have had similar experiences in our corporate job. For those of you that don't know our story, we've both suffered at different times with PTSD. I know, like, when I was in my corporate job, I was plagued with chronic anxiety all of the time. Again, my health was really bad. My gut health was appalling. I had put a lot of weight on through self-sabotage and bad habits. And to be honest, my confidence was really at rock bottom. And I think on the surface, I was this, this person, this big job, and, the big title, and, the big salary, and all of these things. But underneath, I was really, really hurting. I was really at rock bottom in terms of my confidence. I was unhappy. My relationship was pretty much on its last legs. And I think even my performance, if I'm being really honest, I think I was doing enough to be seen to be doing enough. But I think if I think about the way in which I show up in my business now, there's no comparison in terms of my level of commitment and my desire to be there and to do well. So I think there is always going to be a cost of not following your dreams, of staying where you are, whatever that is for you, whether it's your relationship, whether it's your health, your confidence, your performance, your happiness. What is it costing you if you stay where you are? But I think also what I do want to say about this is that I think there's sometimes this thing in the coaching industry where, you read people's, big soul stories, and a lot of them have hit rock bottom in order to then be where they are right now. And I don't believe that you need to hit rock bottom in order to rise up and do this. This is not X Factor. We do not need to have a sob story in order to step into our greatness. We can choose to move from where we are, which might be good, into great, into outstanding, into like phenomenal, without having to hit rock bottom in order to get there. And I think that's quite important, because sometimes women say to us, but I'm just normal. I don't have any big story. I don't have, like, nothing's really happened to me. Will people relate to me?
I don't have a story to tell. Everybody has a story to tell. It doesn't have to be one of victim and desperation. It can be that I'm just a normal, Em and I are just normal women living a very normal life that have, Em, you made a beautiful post about this the other day, but we just have the most incredible dreams that we are showing up for. That's our speciality. We're showing up for our dreams. Yeah. And we'll keep going. And I love this whole concept is you don't have to go to rock bottom in order to have your kind of like miraculous recovery. You can just go from okay to being better, to being great, to being incredible, to being absolute magical. You do not have to go all the way to the bottom. So what we're coming in here really to say is just ask yourself now, before you get to the point where you've lost your health and you've lost your relationship and you've lost your marbles and you've lost everything, to go, oh my God, I wish I'd listened, and ask myself that really important question that Em just said is, what is it costing me not to? What's the cost of me not doing this? And then the affordability piece isn't about the money. It's about the joy that you can have in this one life. My mum died 6 years ago this week, and that was my biggest wake-up call, was that somebody that close dying to me made me realize that life is finite. Life is finite. And I don't think I ever really knew or understood or appreciated that until she went. Because we have one life. And it was in that moment I decided I'm going to put me back in my life, my dreams, my desires. And that's possibly what made me abnormal in a lot of my circle, because they weren't putting themselves, they were putting their kids, they were putting their parents, they were putting everything else in, and in doing so sabotaging their dreams. It was a form of self-sabotage. So we're just normal women who've decided to be slightly different, to say, no, we're actually going to show up for our dreams.
Ordinary women doing extraordinary things.
Yeah.
That's the post that I made this week. If you haven't read that one, you can find it on our Instagram, but I think it will resonate with you.
Yeah.
Okay, so the P then in the leap, the P, the final part, but also important, is purpose. I feel like it's a word that's thrown around quite a lot in the industry, like this pressure. Oh my God, the pressure to know my purpose.
I don't know my purpose.
The pressure to know my purpose. That I guess why is knowing your life's purpose then so important in business? I feel like there's two parts to this. I think the first part is when you do know your purpose, it actually makes your decision on what you want to do next, what your next move is, much easier, because you know what you're here to do. So do I stay or do I go? There's a song there. Do I stay or do I go?
Neither of us can sing, so let's not sing. That's the only thing that we have that's the same. You can dance, I've got 2 left feet. Everything about Em and I is completely equal and opposite. If you see our human design charts, my crown is open, Em is closed. My heart is closed, Em's is open. We complete each other in every way, except you'll never hear us doing karaoke, or if you do, you want to bring your earbuds.
I think that's mighty unfair. I thought that was quite good. The decisions become much easier because you can say to yourself, is this in alignment with what I'm here to do? And if not, what needs to happen next? Is there something that out there that is more for me? Is this what I'm meant to do? And I think actually knowing your purpose really helps with that decision. But also your own purpose is really what underpins and drives the direction of your brand. Okay, so we're here talking about how you can leap and grow in your business. Your purpose drives the direction of your brand. It's the clarity of you knowing what your purpose is that actually creates a brand mission for your business. So notice there's 2 different things there. And I just want to talk about this for a bit and help you to distinguish what the difference is between a business and a brand, because a business is just purely a transactional, operational, functional entity. Okay, it's the exchange of goods and services for money. You know, this morning my 1-year-old gave me some of her toast in return for £1. Okay, she is a businesswoman in the making, but that was a transactional business. But a brand is very, very different, because a brand is absolutely everything that people experience when they come in contact with your business. So it's the words that you use, it's your images, it's the way that you present yourself, it's your vibe, your tone, it's your vulnerability, your values, your realness. I remember when I worked in marketing agency, we always used to say a brand is your truth well told. Okay, it's that feeling that people have, the feeling that people have when they come in contact with your brand.
I remember there was a quote. Can I say my quote? Can I please?
Yes, please do. I love this.
Say my quote. There was one thing that helped me drive when I started Heal Yourself Happy, and I didn't have a website and I didn't have a logo. It was this quote that helped me just jump into the feeling, and it says, "Your smile is your logo, your personality is your business card, and how you leave others feeling after having an experience with you becomes your trademark." That is your brand. And that's what I've lived and breathed and pushed everything through every business. You don't need any of all the bells and whistles. This is what you need in order to grow a brand. And it's the brand behind the business that helps you generate the income and the clients.
Yeah. Your brand is the reason why people buy. It's why they repeat buy. from you. It's why they recommend you to other people to buy, or they share your content, or they engage with you on your social media. You know, people can buy anything from anyone at any time, anywhere. Like, the internet has allowed that to happen, but the reason they buy from you is your brand. And the thing is that when people buy, they buy based on emotion, on how something makes them feel. And then they rationalize that purchase and why they should have it. But they've already decided they're going to have it because of the feeling that it gives them.
I think that ties nicely back to one of those questions that people often come and ask us. They say, but how am I going to stand out? There are hundreds of health coaches out there. There are hundreds of stylists out there. There are hundreds of business coaches, leadership coaches, female empowerment coaches. What Emma's saying is how and why people will buy from you. Just like I can walk into Ripon and there are about 50 places I can go and buy coffee, but I will go and buy them from Lou because she makes me feel good, because she's special. She knows exactly how I like my coffee. She's gorgeous. I can relate to her. She always gives me a big hug, you know, and that's what we want people to feel when they come into the Limitless CEO brand. They want to buy from us because they love being in our energy, that we give them that warm hug. And this is what we help you create with your brand. People buy from brands.
Yeah, and great brands and successful businesses, they know how to build that emotional connection, that feeling. And if I can give you like a great example of this, like every year at Christmas in the UK, the big retailers, they're all trying to compete for your Christmas shopping budget. And they're doing it by tugging at your emotions. Like, think about the John Lewis adverts that you see every Christmas, you know, the man in the moon. Oh my God, I want to buy everything from John Lewis just to make sure the man on the moon is not going to be lonely at Christmas, because it tugs at my heartstrings. Or maybe you remember the Yellow Pages Christmas adverts, the little boy that goes and gets the Yellow Pages so that he can reach up and give the girl a kiss. Oh.
I can buy myself a bag of Yellow Pages so I can kiss James because he's about 5 inches taller than me. Not even that.
You need a few Yellow Pages. You know, there's the feeling, like Coca-Cola, holidays are coming, you know, every single Christmas they draw on the excitement of Christmas coming, and it's going to be party season, therefore it's going to be Coca-Cola season because the holidays are coming. These are brands that are all competing on that emotional connection that they make with people. You know, and like Ali said, you know, the reason why we're talking about brand when it comes to purpose and why it's so important to know what your purpose is that actually the first step in creating an outstanding brand for your business is knowing what your purpose is. And your purpose is why you do what you do.
Yeah.
Okay. Your individual purpose is why you do what you do. Your brand purpose is why you do what you do for other people. Okay. So see how those two things are so aligned.
So if we take the Limitless CEO, for example, just to bring this to light into context of what people mean, we built the Limitless CEO because we wanted to create a business that we were wildly in love with, to create a life that we were wildly in love with, and we loved everything in it. We've put everything that we love into the Limitless CEO brand, the colors, the feelings, the topics, the content, the way we do it, in order to support a life that we love. We have Wednesdays and Fridays and afternoons off. We only see clients on Mondays and Tuesdays, and Thursday mornings and afternoons are for sessions just like this. We have designed it in an intentional way so that we love it, so that we're wildly in love with it, I think is our mission statement. We're wildly in love with it and it feels aligned to our souls. And then we show up in that way so that we can help you do exactly the same. This then becomes our mission outward, in service. Our brand is in service to you, to help you build and design a brand that you are wildly in love with, to support a business that gives you the lifestyle that you love too. People buy into brands.
Love that. So brand strategy, obviously brand strategy is my jam, as our friends across the pond say. Like, that's the thing that I could just talk brand strategy all day and all night, forever. But brand strategy is, or has been, I should say, in the past, that we've always dedicated the first 2 weeks of the Well-Balanced Business to brand strategy for this reason, because it is so important as that foundational step. But we had conversations about it, and this year it didn't feel like that was enough to just be focusing on brand strategy for the first 2 weeks. Given what we've just told you about the importance of brand, it didn't feel like enough. And we felt as though every woman in the Well-Balanced Business needed to understand her brand on a much deeper level, so she could create this emotional connected brand through words and images and names and descriptions and strap lines and all of those beautiful things that go into creating a brand. We felt like it was needed to go a lot deeper on this. So this time round, what we've decided to do for the Well-Balanced Business is actually add this enormous bonus at the beginning of the Well-Balanced Business program. And what we've planned is a full day online immersion just purely on brand building. And this is going to look like 4 times hour-long workshops throughout the day, where we are going to help you to curate and create the most beautiful soul-aligned brand. Okay, this is going to be completely free bonus to the Well-Balanced Business. For the ladies of you that have already signed up, you can send us some little celebrations because we're giving this to you as a gift. But something that we also felt when we were doing this was that this information for brand building is just way, way too important to not actually make available to all of the other ladies in our world as well.
And especially those who want to make that leap. We talked about it right at the beginning, that first step. You want to feel secure, you want to feel stable. If you know your brand, this is one of the biggest things that people feel insecure about, is because they don't know what they're going to be doing. They don't know their purpose. They don't know their mission. They haven't got a vision. But if you've got that, that's your first step. That's your first feeling of excitement to know that you can make the leap, because you're jumping onto something that's secure and solid and gives you that foundation for you to springboard off.
Amazing. Yeah. So ladies, this is our invitation to you now to join our Curator and Creator Day. That's what we're calling it. And in these sessions over this 1 day period, what we're going to do is get very clear on your purpose. We are going to create you a very clear vision for the direction of your business, so that you know exactly where you're going. We're going to help you name your brand if you haven't got a name for your brand yet. You know, create strap lines for your brand if you haven't got strap lines for your brand. We're going to help you understand how you write about what you do in a way that people can feel and that does make you stand out from everybody else doing the same thing.
This is the curation. I love the distinction, how I got it in my head, because Emma's the wordsmith. Curate is the curation of your brand, the internal feeling, so that you know where you're stepping into, where you're going to, what's my purpose, what's my mission, how can I explain it to myself? How can I have the powerful conversations with my partner about what it is I'm going to do? And we're going to help you word that, so you can come to them and say, this is my purpose, this is my mission, this is my vision, here it is, and beautiful. Can I speak it to you? Can I say it to you? I'm confident that this is what I'm building. That's the curation of your brand.
And then also that you can take that message outwards into your audience, so that people can understand it. You can articulate it in a way that people understand. Why would they work with you? This is why. It's your brand.
And that's the creation. So then you create the brand, you create the feeling outward, you bring yourself the confidence by curating it internally, and then you create it externally. And what you're going to walk away with at the end of this whole day, I'm so excited because I did it last week. I did it for us, I did it for Em and I've created a blank template of what you're going to walk away with. We're going to help you pull away the most incredible, I don't even know what we called it, Curator and Creator document that's going to have everything that Em's just said in there. It's going to have your vision, your mission, your values. It's going to have your mission statement. It's going to have your pillars. It's going to have all of the beautiful images and imagery that's going to evoke the feeling that you want people to feel when they see your brand. You're going to have the mood board, the vision board, the photography, everything. We're going to help you build that so that by the end of the day, you know exactly what your brand is and what you're going to share with the world. Boom.
Yeah, so ladies, this is going to show you how you can brand your business in a way that you are able to have multiple services all under one business umbrella, brand umbrella. We're also going to show you how you can then niche without feeling like you're restricting yourself within this. Ali's going to show you how you can create the most beautiful content for social media, the most beautiful photography, amazing graphics, all of those things that make your content pop and that people engage with. And we're going to show you like how you can create powerful posts and content that people are going to engage with. So you're going to come away with this whole brand toolkit. So for those of you that are already in the well-balanced business, you're going to get this for free. Our private clients, our masterminds, and our well-balanced business ladies, you're going to get this for free. So you can all celebrate. Ladies, if you aren't in one of those containers, we wanted to make this a very easy hell yes for you. And the investment for this full day is only £333.
And Kat's just dropped the link. Kat's just dropped the link. So if you are a hell yes,
drop the link.
For a
so for £333, you can come and work with us in these workshops for a full day. And what we also wanted to do is that if you decide during that day that you still want more and you want to move on and come and join us inside of the well-balanced business, you can put that investment towards your well-balanced business investment. So we'll take off that money from your well-balanced business.
So people are probably now asking, when is the day? And what happens if,
happens
if I can't make the day? So it's all good. We've thought about that already. So the actual day that we're going to be running live in sessions, very much like this, is the 10th of February. So it's actually next week. Yeah. So it's next week. We're so excited. Is that Thursday? Is it Thursday?
Thursday next week.
Thursday next week. We'll be doing it live in a group like this. It's 4-hour-long sessions with breaks in between, so you can get your lunch, you can go to the loo, you can work on the stuff that you're doing. But not only that, is you're going to have access to it from the 10th until the day that the Well Balanced Business Program starts, which is the 21st. So you'll have 10 days, 11 days worth of access to watch the replay. So if you can only make the morning sessions and not the afternoon, you can come back and vice versa. So you can watch us live, you can watch us replays. But you're also going to be in a group. And the wonderful thing about being in the group with Em and I is that you can post what you're working on in the group and we will be able to comment on it. Not only that, you're going to have all of the other women in the group as well, giving you feedback, their thoughts, their ideas. You're going to be feeling the inspiration from them. Oh, I love that image. Oh, I love those colors. How about you tweak that word? You're going to be getting people's eyes on it already before you launch it out into the big wide world, which is also one of the things that people can be frightened of when they take that leap. I'm not sure what people are going to think. What are they going to say? Well, this is your test bed. This is your test scenario so that you can test it on people in this world with you. And then you can go big and then you can go out. So it's the 10th of March. You'll have access to
10th of Feb. 10th of Feb.
Why do I say 10th of March? I don't know. I'm leaping ahead. 10th of February. You'll have access to everything for 10 days. And then you can either upgrade and become part of the Well Balanced Business because you've loved it so much you want to carry on, or you can just take that information and use it as long as you like. So the investment is £333, as Em has said. The link has already dropped into the comments. If you can't find it and you don't know what we're talking about, you've got questions, please leave comments here. Please message us. We're very excited.
We're very excited about this. It's going to be amazing.
Can't wait to see what brands come out of it because I know we've worked some magic on some brands already, so it's going to be so exciting to see. We've already got one person that actually already jumped in.
Yes. Yeah. So, ladies, just a reminder as well that on Thursday afternoon, 2 p.m, we're going to be back here for part 2 of the Leap and Grow series, and we're going to be talking to you about the growth. How do you achieve that next level growth in your business? More clients, more impact, more income, more of what you desire in your life. That is what we're going to be back here on Thursday talking about.
I'm just seeing some comments. Can I read some comments?
Yes. I always love to hear from people.
So what are we saying? We've got so Kerry's very, very excited. Sue, who's joining us on the Well Balanced Business, she's very, very excited. So is Helen. She's also in the Well Balanced Business. Amazing. And Susie, who's one of our gorgeous previous graduates of the Well Balanced Business, is going to see if she can get the day off. So
that'd be amazing, Susie.
I think that's one thing we probably should mention as well. Actually, if you've already been through the Well Balanced Business like Susie, one of the most important things to do with your brand is to keep evolving it, keep growing it. Em and I are consistently, constantly asking ourselves, are we still on brand? Are we still relevant? Are we still growing? We're evolving. So our brand has to evolve with us. I said right at the beginning, Em wrote the well-balanced business, the framework for her business. But I can't even count the number of iterations we've been through it individually in our own businesses. Em with Designing the Dream, I went through it at least 3 or 4 times in Heal Yourself Happy, and we've been through it at least twice now with the Limitless CEO. So this is something, is a wheel in a cycle. So once you've done the well-balanced business or even done the Curator and the Creator, you keep doing it, you keep evolving, you keep moving, just like we keep leaping all the time. It's
absolutely, yeah. This is the refinement process of your business, like being able to just keep that fine tuning of your brand all the time. It's what keeps it fresh, relevant. It gets people interested. It's also super fun to do because it's one of my favorite things in the whole world to do. But it means that we get to just keep on adding that potency to our brands, adding that level of feeling and emotional connection that people can tap into. So wherever you are, this is never a done thing. It's always something that's evolving, as Ali said. And we've literally just had the best time taking the Limitless CEO brand back through this exact process. Because one of the things we always do with our programs is we create something, we take ourselves through it first before we then come in and teach you that process. So we're going to take you through exactly what we've been doing. Really excited.
Really good question here, actually, worth us answering right now. So Kate has just said, does it matter if you haven't got a content or a name or even started a business? I think this is probably one of the best things that you can act.
Yeah, that's the whole point. Yeah, definitely.
The whole point. I know, Kate, I know for you, you've just, you're doing a nutritional program and you're wanting to make that leap and start a new business. This is the first piece of the puzzle. So this is how we can draw it out of you. We're going to take you through the process to create that. I also know you're coming on the VIP day. So actually that is the perfect complement for you to do before you come. So you can then bring that and then we'll take it to the next level and build on that when you come for the VIP day.
Yeah, absolutely. Ladies, if you've just got a seed of an idea of what you think you might want to do, this is the place where you get to turn that seed into something that you can see it, you can feel it, you know what it's going to be. I think it's that clarity that we want to give you when you come out at the end of this process. So wherever, even if you're not even ready to start taking on clients yet, that doesn't matter.
She's signing up now.
Yay! It's amazing. Fab.
Lovely.
Yeah, any other questions before we hop off today?
I'm going to watch. But yeah, if you have any questions, whether we manage to catch you now, please put them in here. Please tag either Em or I, or even Kat. I know she's been commenting. If you tag any one of us, we'll be able to drop back in and respond to those questions. We are back live, as Em said, on, oh, hello, Rocky, on Thursday to talk about the next level. So once you've taken that leap, how do you then grow? That's the next stage. We're going to be coming to talk about that next bit on Thursday at 2 p.m. Anything else we want to say? I haven't seen any more questions coming up, but I'm very, very excited. Can't wait to do that next week. I'm so excited.
All right, ladies, thank you so much for being here.
Lots of love. Thank you.